Hey everyone, I just got a bunch of stuff. I took advantage of a Black Friday deal at Guitar Center. I used that opportunity to buy a bunch of stuff at like basically half off to set up the Media Lunch Breaks podcast network. And it's here. I actually made a mistake. I should have videotaped this part, but I accidentally had them mail it to Manhattan, to one of their stores, where I am not. And I had to go into Manhattan on the train, and thankfully Chris met me, my co-host, and we grabbed all the stuff and then backpacked it up to Penn Station, where we put it all on a train and sent it back where it belongs. And now it's all here. Yes, look at it in all its glory. Well, you can't see it now. You're about to see it, but you can't see it now because it's still in the bags and the boxes and stuff. But we're gonna take all that shit out. We're gonna take a look. How's that sound? Does that sound frickin' cool? I hope so. This might sound dumb, but here we are. So let's go. So the Media Lunch Break is getting ready to launch its podcast network. We need our own tech for that, though, so that's what this is. 4 microphones, 4 mic stands, 4 cables, and a new audio interface. I'm going to talk a little bit about each of them, why I decided to pick the ones that I picked. But for now, I'm opening them right now. I'm taking everything out because I got to test it first. I want to make sure before I send it to our new hosts for the new shows that everything looks good. So here we go. All right. Everything is plugged in. It's a bit of a OSHA violation, probably. It's a bit of a safety hazard. But, they're all here. Got the mics right there. I'm only going to be talking into one. I want to test some very specific things. But, got to turn on the computer first in order to test them. So let's get it booted up and see what happens. All right, we're gonna see how this works. Ooh, it is not secure. Probably should have moved the monitor because it's very far away. It's hard for me to see what I'm doing. Hello. Oh, it's looking so good now. We can talk a little bit about why I got these in a minute, but I just want to show you what I'm seeing because it's making me real happy. Ah, yeah. Look at that, 4 channels. And this one, that's too big. That is too big. Let me get out of there. The top one is the main one that's picking stuff up, and that's good because that's the one that's right in front of my face. So I'm really digging that. That's cool. I like that. And yeah, the other mics are just little squiggles, and they're right next to me. They're right fucking there. Awesome. All right, cool. I was worried at first because it was only showing one audio track recording, like one mic. Only this mic was picking up stuff. But I did a little bit in the settings, and that made it so I could split it into 4 tracks, and it's working perfectly. It's doing exactly what I want. And I'll get into that, what it is that I want, what it is I'm looking for, why I bought these mics, this audio interface right now. So, I'm in pajamas now. I've changed. Don't worry about that. Don't focus on it. We're talking about podcasting equipment. The main reason that I'm switching all this up, well, the main reason I got it all is because we're starting a network. We're getting a bunch of people. The goal was to find a bunch of people who didn't know how to do this, who had never done it before, never made a podcast before, but they had good ideas. And that's what we did. We found 4 people. I think one of them, not 4 people, 4 groups of people. I think one of them was technically already a podcast, but it was kind of a failed podcast. Like, they tried to make one years ago, and they liked the idea of it, but they didn't really know what they were doing, so they stopped. We really liked the idea, so we decided to pick it up, and we're going to pay all these people. But, so that's why I have all this stuff. But it's all stuff that is very different from what I currently have, like what we use. I have a podcast, The Media Lunch Break, with my co-host Chris, and we each have a Rode NTG2. I use a Scarlett audio interface, a Focusrite Scarlett. My co-host uses a Zoom H6. I love the Rode NTG2. It's got a beautiful sound. It makes my voice sound very like husky, needy, warm, friendly, and I really like that about it. The biggest problem with it is that I got it because it is a hypercardioid mic, also called a shotgun mic. The reason it's called that is because the shape of what it picks up is like basically only stuff that's right in front of it. My co-host Chris is very loud. Whenever we're in the room together, he comes up on my mic every time, and it makes it very, very hard to edit because there's always an echo whenever he's talking. And I can kind of cut it out here and there, but there's a lot of times where we're sort of talking at the same time, so it becomes very difficult. Now, we mostly record remotely, so the Rode NTG2 is perfect for us. He's not in the same room. I put on headphones, he's just in my ear. I can just talk, and I can edit around it, and it works perfectly. But for people who are going to be in the same room together, you need a good dynamic microphone. A dynamic microphone basically just picks up stuff that's like right in front of it. And not in the same way that a shotgun mic will. A shotgun mic is more directional, but the further away you go, you can still pick up a lot of stuff. It's also a boom mic. Like a shotgun mic is another name for a boom mic, where you hold it like 10 feet in the air and it'll pick up stuff that people are saying underneath. It's what they use on film sets. Whereas this won't pick up stuff much further than maybe a few feet. So that's the goal, is to have the people further away, but the microphones right up close. One of the podcasts that we're bringing into the network, they're going to have at most I think they said like 5 people. But audio interfaces, which I'll get to in a minute, go in factors of 2. So you'll have like a solo, and that's 1. You'll have one that has 2. They can have 2 mics, one that can have 4 mics, one that can have 8 mics, 16, 32, and on and on and on. So to get one that has 5, you kind of got to spend a lot of extra money to get one that has 8, which I didn't want to do. So I was like, you know what, someone can double up. They can have the buddy system. So that's why I wanted those mics. The Shure seems like a good mic. Shure is a good company. I know that already just from having experience in audio stuff, and the PGA 48 is what we ended up going with, and I think that's a pretty good mic from what I've seen. So the audio interface that we got, this bad boy, the Zoom AMS 44. This is pretty new. The reason I decided to go with it is actually I switched my old audio interface out for that one a while ago. So when Chris and I got started, we just used the Focusrite Scarlett. I really liked it. It's got a good sound, but I had a couple problems with it. Now, when we went remote, he had to get his own because we were going to be recording separately. So I was like, do I spend all this money and get another Focusrite Scarlett? Or what should I do? And I think the Zoom H6 had just come out, which is a handheld, portable, either battery operated or you can plug it in, audio interface that can have up to 6 microphones. It also works, it has like a mic that you can just like sit in the center of the room and it'll pick up whatever's in the room. So that's good, in case you're worried about one of your mics failing or something, you'll always have that backup. Also, it can record to an SD card, which means you don't even need a computer. So like if we want to record in a hotel, we can literally just bring this handheld thing. It looks like an old graphing calculator, 2 mics, 2 cables, and an SD card and some batteries, and we're good to go. If we want to walk around, if we want to interview people at conventions. That's why we ended up getting that, is because it's very flexible in a lot of different ways. But I also found, just editing both my track and his track together, it sounds better than mine. And it's about the same price. And the Focusrite Scarlett only can have 4 mics at a time, 4 XLR inputs at one time, whereas his can have 6. And it's about the same price. It's more portable. It has a lot of better features, but also the most important thing, it sounds better. So I was like, if it sounds better, probably other stuff Zoom makes is going to sound better too. And by sound better, what you're really looking for with an audio interface is like, a lot of times they can have a hiss in the background, or, they can sort of alter the sound of the microphone. So what's known as like instrument noise or self noise or something like that is the term in the industry, where like your device makes a noise and it's very quiet. When I edit mine, I have to use a noise reduction effect, where like it takes out the hiss in the background, but with his I didn't have to. So just on a whim, I decided to try the Zoom AMS44, which is only like $140 or so. I think it's less than that even. I don't know, but it's a good amount of money. But the Focusrite Scarlett that I was using, it was like the 18i8 because it's the cheapest one that had 4 XLR inputs. It's like $400. So I decided to try this. It sounds better. I love it. So I got a second one for the network. And I just want to highlight just how... Let me do some stuff. I want to just drive home exactly the difference between these. Here they are. This is the Focusrite Scarlett 18i8. This is the Zoom AMS44. Both do 4 XLR inputs. This one has, you have to connect it to a computer and you have to plug it into an outlet. This one gets all its power from your computer. Like it's one cable that goes into your computer. It's a USB-C. This has like a FireWire connection to your computer and a 12-volt DC adapter that plugs into the wall. So you've got these two things. This thing's got to be 8 to 10 pounds. This thing honestly is it feels like less than a pound. It feels, honestly, it worries me a little bit because it feels a little cheap plasticky, and this one's like a solid metal body. So feels like it could break, but you can just throw this in your bag, man. Oh, also, this can take batteries too. So you can just bring this somewhere to like a hotel or whatever and use that. I mean, you still need your computer or whatever, but yeah, super light, super heavy. $150, $400. Sounds better. Sounds fine. It just seemed like a no-brainer to me, and it's going to be cheaper to mail as well because we're doing the network, you know. So they both do phantom power. Like I guess the benefit of this one is it technically has 18 inputs and 8 outputs. So like, I don't know if this, I think they both will use either XLR or 1/4-inch jacks. It's like guitar jacks. They both have 2 headphone jacks. There's a bunch of stuff on the back, I guess. I don't know what these are. There's like extra line inputs. It's like monitor outputs in case you want to put like speakers up. SPDIF, don't know what that is. MIDI in, MIDI out, never gonna need that. Optical input, don't know what that is. So if you're just looking for, yeah, I feel like this is more of a like, I'm a professional, I'm creating a home, I'm creating like a big studio, but it's also not what you would get if you're creating like a real expensive big time studio, you know? It's kind of an obsolete, I loved it for what it was. And I think Focusrite makes good audio interfaces, but it's not great for what I'm doing. So, the Zoom AMS44. There you go. And the cables and the mic stands were just because they came with the mics. Because it was like a big Black Friday deal where they were given like, you know, they had a deal that was like 3 mics, 3 stands, 3 cables. It's like $150. And then you could get that same set, but with just one, because I needed 4. So it was like one of each of a mic, a stand, and a cable for, I don't know, it was like $30 or $40. And it was great. And then this thing I got used on Guitar Center. It's California. They shipped it all the way over here. It seems like, I mean, it looks like it's never been used, if I'm being completely honest. There's no marks on it. There's no, the thing just came out. Like, they just released it like 2 months ago or something. So I don't know how much they were using it, but it's mine now. So yeah, that's all my stuff. Thanks for coming with me on this journey while I opened it and tested it. If you have any recommendations about a podcast network, like technical equipment to use and stuff like that, like what you think would be great for like 4 people or even more, like, is there a better setup if you have 5 people? Because I can't find one. Like, the next best I can find is like 8 inputs, and I don't want to buy one of those. I don't want to buy a big audio interface. So let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for more stuff too. It's kind of something that it's become my life now, that I'm just like somehow accumulating more and more audio equipment every single week. So let me know so I can buy it. All right, thanks. If you would like to see some of my other videos, here's one. Do that. And if you'd like to subscribe, I would love that. And you can subscribe by clicking this thing over here. Thanks for watching. It's been real. I love you all. Go forth and start a podcast network, because that's the cool thing to do, I'm told. Okay, bye.